God, that sounded like a demonic screech. Maybe I have to blow gently. Much better. That one sounded like a dying squirrel. Guess what? It's my birthday! I guess by the time this video comes out, it's no longer my birthday. But on the day I'm recording this video, I turned 30. I am officially, undeniably an adult. And to celebrate being an adult, I thought I would share my adult skills with those of you who are younger and redraw your kids' art, or your art if you're very young. And if you want to submit to future versions of this fun little activity, you can use the hashtag #RedrawMyKidsArt on Twitter. That is how I find your beautiful faces and your artworks. We've done this several times before. I'll link in the description to the other rounds of this that we've played, but this is the first round in the new studio. And this is actually the first official video that I've recorded in front of the community backdrop, which is sort of fitting because this is all your art. The last time I did this, I put it to you guys as to whether I should do sort of more and more sketchy, or if I should just do a couple and do them as refined as possible. And your votes have said loud and clear you'd rather me do less images of a higher quality than to get through more of your artwork. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to approach this sort of like the character design sessions I used to do. I'm just going to actually pick one character and put as much effort into the redesign as I possibly can. I want to start off also by thanking the sponsor of this video, Wix. And while we're talking about making things look as good as possible, you actually don't even have to be a professional to make a professional looking website. Wix is an easy, fast, flexible, and super professional website building platform. But it's not just suitable for beginners, it's also suitable for experts. So if you like to code and customize your website, Wix Code and all of their deep database stuff that you can sink your teeth into. I personally use Wix and love them, and you will too. So go check them out with a link in the card and in the description. And a huge thank you, of course, to Wix for sponsoring this video. I could just spend all day looking at your awesome artworks. By the way, anyone who's like just watching this but hasn't gone to look up the hashtag, go check it out because there are some talented kids submitting to this. Oh, it's us! It's me and you hanging out. This was created by Juan. Thank you, Juan. That feels like a really nice birthday present. I'm getting distracted. All right, I might have to go with this one. This is by Rory, and it's a picture of Ravis, a superhero that Rory made up. Ravis has an awesome character design foundation to work from. So I'm gonna pinch Ravis, and I'm actually gonna copy the pose, because as like tough and epic as Ravis seems, he's just sort of chilling out on a tree branch, and I like that. Ravis knows how to take a day off. I don't. It's my birthday, but I do have the best job in the world, so I'm happy to do this, seriously. There's a few really cool features here. We've definitely got a helmet, and I don't know if I'm going sort of like in a robotic or medieval direction. Why not both? So I'm gonna try and do a bit of a dramatic angle, like we're looking up at him in the tree, but it's an upwards angle. So this is gonna be a little tricky, but I'm trying to be as ambitious as I can and make it look as epic as I can, like you guys asked for. I think this pose is looking pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. So now we need to work with the core design elements of Rory's image. Specifically, we have this sort of visor thing here. It's got that arrow down in the middle. Now I'm noticing that we have one shoulder pad here, and then the other one is quite a bit bigger. So I'm actually gonna roll with that as a design feature. So I make this one like the short shoulder pad, and then this one can be the long one that sort of travels down the arm. I'll do it in parts, so it sort of breaks apart like this into plates. Now another very apparent design element is this circle shape in the middle there, and I'm not entirely sure what to make of it. Is it an insignia, a mechanism? Is it like a gem? I'll decide that based on how the rest of the design comes together. So I'm really going with this like sharp mechanical look. So it's like somewhere between medieval and mech. I feel like we're almost there. I think the only thing missing is his mode of attack. Now, there's nothing very clear in the original reference, but it might be that it's on his back and just hidden behind that frontal pose. So I'm actually, in this side pose, gonna add the weapon over his shoulder here. And I think it'll be like a mix between like a long sword, because we're half medieval, and like a lightsaber. Now, I've got a really solid construction to work from here, and I'm gonna go forward and do the line work. And in the past videos, I've just sort of talked through it as I've done it, but I've talked through a lot of this, and it's really not going to change that much. So this time I'm going to do it time-lapse style, so I can focus on making it epic, and you can see it all come together pretty quickly. It'll probably be more fun to see be put together listening to epic music rather than my voice anyway, just, you know, more suitably epic. So about an hour and a half later, this is what I've got. And you can see we're definitely keeping to the original character design, the general silhouette, and even the pose and the feeling of a relaxed hero on his day off. This is really, really fun. And as you can see, I've blocked in just a little bit of color here. And the way I've done this is actually in like chunks of color. So we've got the gold, we've got the purple of the tights or clothing underneath, whatever you call it. And we've got like the charcoal colored armor on top, and then just some other miscellaneous colors underneath. And the reason I've done that is because I still want to paint this with a lot of detail and with a lot of like shading and effects and stuff. But by doing the blocking like that first, it'll allow me to really quickly put in some highlights and shadows and effects, and you'll see this piece come together really quick and really awesome. So I'm using something called clipping masks, where by adding a layer on top and attaching it into the layer underneath, I can then take my paintbrush, and let's say with this armor, for example, I can paint as much as I want and it's going to stay inside those areas that I've filled in. And this is really useful because now I can go through and let's say start off with some shadows. We pick a light direction, so he's going to be looking off into the sunset, so we'll have the shadow sort of behind where he's facing. And just like that, we've got one quick layer of shading, and then I just add another clipping mask, and then I go darker and add a deeper layer of shading, but this time a little more refined, a little more detailed. Already the armor's starting to pop, but the highlights are really going to make this stand out. I'm going to grab another layer on top, and this time I'm going to really show a bit of the sunset I picture him looking into. To do that, I'm going to get a nice golden yellow, and if I just sort of paint this quite strong on the left side of the character, like so, and then play around with the overlay settings, I'll find one I think that will look pretty good. It makes it much clearer that it's sunset and not just slightly orange armor by having just sections closest to the light that are the strongest. So particularly the head, the edge of the armor over here, and then just like subtle hints of the light on the other parts of the armor, but really not overdoing it. And I really think that that's sort of brought it together pretty quick. He definitely looks like he's staring off into the sunset. So now I'm just going to go through the same process for the rest of the body. For example, let's go in the clothing section-y thing. I forget what it was. It's like spandex or something. I think one of the keys when it comes to shading different sections of the body, for example, the spandex as opposed to the armor, is to create different textures by the way you shade it. So I'm going to do that on the armor by picking like a color that's going to be picked up from the light. So let's go with like a red. And for the shading on the spandex, I'm just going to go for a much softer hint of the sunlight. So now we're moving on to some of the more interesting parts of the shading, because I think this stuff is going to be mostly really shiny, except for the tabard or whatever you call it. So the gold bits and this purple chest plate, I want to really look super reflective. I never really decided what this middle bit is, so I'm just going to go with, I guess, an insignia. What's the shape that we have in here? It's like a line down the middle and a circle. So I'm going to do it in here as just a solid shade, and then when I get to the highlights, I'll be able to shape it out properly. Some really sharp lines, and especially when it's like right against the edge next to the light source. That's one of my favorite types of lights. It's a sort of like rim lighting. Now this piece of torso plate is interesting because I want it to look like a really glossy feature. So to do that, I'm going to grab a couple of shadow colors. They're going to have to be pretty saturated just so they look nice and shiny. And I'm going to select a paintbrush and brush in a little bit of a gradient here, and then even select a darker, more saturated color and just build that up a little bit. And then I'm going to grab an eraser with a really sharp edge and just erase across like that. And as you can see, that gets like a really sharp, reflective look. And then that's just a really nice base to work from as I just add in a little bit of shading around that. And then as I bring in the highlights and try and make it stand out a little bit more. And this is where I'm sort of edging towards the pinks of the sunset as well. And then last but not least, one more layer on top, and this one's going to be like a really sharp highlight, this time much closer towards that sort of hot orange. Okay, so I've finished the coloring. I'm just going to hide that so I don't give it away too early, because the next and final thing is the background. We have that tree branch is sitting on, which we need to paint in, and then we can also put in a little bit of a sky. And after I've done that, the final touch will be adding a little bit of a glow to his eyes, just so we get that little bit of a techie, futuristic feel. And so about 4.5 hours later, we've taken our core concept created by Rory at only 8 years old. Rory, thank you for your inspiration. And with it, I've put together a little bit of a recreation I hope you enjoy. Staring into the sunset after battle, the mighty Ravis, hero of the cyber medieval world thing. I don't know. Look, the whole story is yours, Rory, but I hope you enjoy my recreation of it. This is such a cool design to have worked from, and I'm super happy with the outcome. I hope you guys enjoy it too. And as you can see, I've gone kind of crazy with this one, and I'm feeling like maybe this is the direction we should take this series moving forward, just doing one recreation as epic as possible. And this is the result of trying to do that. I hope you like it. Let me know in the comments if you think that's the way to do it, and if you like the outcome. Focusing on just the one image, it really allows me to knuckle down on a whole bunch of different effects, maybe even do a little bit of the background and really tie something together in as polished a way as possible, and this is what it can end up like. So I'm looking forward to seeing your thoughts, and in wrapping up the video, I want to thank the sponsor, Wix, once again. If you want to put your website together and make it up as pretty as possible, whether you have experience or not, Wix is the place to go to build your website today. I use Wix, and if you're looking to build a website, I can recommend that you give it a go too. I was 11 years old when I built my first website, and it was terrible. But if I had Wix in my hands, would have been a lot better, and yours can be. Seriously, the amount of resources available, from widgets and apps to just the way you can build your website with a drag and drop interface, it's amazing. Wix offers hundreds of designer-made templates and hundreds of website apps you can choose from. It's super easy to start learning and using today. You don't need to be a developer, but if you are, you can really sink your teeth into the details. You can set up e-commerce and ticket booking systems, sell products and build an audience and run a business, or just start building a social media following or a portfolio. I built Draw with JAZZA.com with Wix. You can go check that out. The FAQ page and contact form and art gallery all were built in under a couple of hours. It was really easy and really fun to use, and I recommend you go check it out. They take care of literally everything: search engine optimization, virus protection, storage and data and bandwidth and all that stuff. It's super easy to optimize any website from mobile. And the best part is you can use it fully and see how much you love it totally free today. Click the link of the card in the description to go check it out. And once again, a huge thank you to Wix for sponsoring this video. I feel like my favorite part of having finished this image is I feel like I can draw pictures now. I know that sounds dumb, but it's literally been like a month, maybe a month and a half since I've just created an artwork and put the time into it, just because of this studio transition. It's really satisfying to make something and feel really happy with it, and I hope you're happy with it too. And it's a little bit of a nice little birthday gift to myself. A reminder that I can actually draw pictures, and I look forward to making a lot more, especially now that I'm way more set up in this studio and I can really sink my teeth into projects. Anyways, that does it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to Draw with Jazza for more fun with art and creativity. You can support me by checking out my shop down there, where I sell digital goodies and a whole bunch of cool stuff that you can check out, and it's a huge support to me. There's more videos on the channel you'll enjoy, and of course a behind the scenes vlog of my day-to-day and family activities. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.